When many people think about the history of science, they usually hear about Europe, the Renaissance, or famous modern inventors. But what is often ignored is that for centuries, Muslim scholars were among the leading scientists, doctors, mathematicians, and astronomers in the world. And their discoveries helped shape many parts of modern civilization. This period is often called the Islamic Golden Age. It lasted for several centuries, especially between the 8th and 14th centuries, when major centers of knowledge existed in places like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba. What made this period unique was that knowledge was strongly encouraged. In Islam, seeking knowledge was seen as something valuable and honorable. Scholars studied religion, but also mathematics, medicine, engineering, chemistry, geography, and philosophy. One of the most important places during this time was the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. It became a massive center for learning where scholars translated ancient Greek, Persian, and Indian texts into Arabic, preserved them, and expanded upon them. Without this effort, many ancient works might have disappeared completely. But Muslim scholars did not only preserve knowledge, they improved it. Take mathematics as an example. A scholar named Al-Khwarizmi made major contributions to algebra. In fact, the word algebra itself comes from the title of one of his books. His work helped create systematic methods for solving equations, something that became foundational for modern mathematics and computer science. Even the word algorithm comes from the Latin version of his name. In medicine, Muslim doctors were centuries ahead in several areas. Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, wrote a medical encyclopedia called the Canon of Medicine. It became one of the most influential medical books in history and was used in European universities for hundreds of years. Muslim hospitals during that era were also highly advanced for their time. Some had separate wards, pharmacies, medical records, and systems for training doctors. In astronomy, Muslim scientists developed observatories and improved calculations related to planets, stars, and timekeeping. Accurate astronomy was important not only for science, but also for determining prayer times, directions, and the Islamic calendar. Scholars carefully observed the skies and built instruments to study movement in space, long before modern technology existed. Another important figure was Ibn al-Haytham, who made major contributions to optics and the scientific method. He studied how vision and light actually work through experimentation and observation. Many historians consider him one of the earliest true experimental scientists. This emphasis on testing ideas instead of blindly accepting assumptions became extremely important for the development of science later on. Muslim engineers also created advanced machines, water systems, clocks, and mechanical inventions. Some designs from that period influenced technologies developed centuries later. What makes all of this even more interesting is that many of these scholars saw science and faith as connected, not opposed. Studying the world was viewed as a way of appreciating the complexity and creation of Allah. The universe was seen as something meaningful to observe and understand. Over time, much of this knowledge spread into Europe through translations and cultural exchange, especially through places like Islamic Spain. These ideas later influenced the European Renaissance and the scientific developments that followed. So when people talk about the history of science, an important chapter is often missing. For centuries, Muslim scholars were not isolated from scientific progress. They were leading it. They preserved ancient knowledge, expanded human understanding, and built foundations that parts of the modern world still stand on today.